political decision to endorse Romney because everybody's turning against Obama, and maybe Romney's going to be better because you meet with Romney and he says, oh, I want to audit the Fed now. Oh, I won't ban the guns now. I don't like abortion now. I don't like open borders now. I don't like Obamacare that I wrote now. I mean, yes, this Mitt Romney, with what he says today, is better than Barack Obama. The problem is the real Mitt Romney and the way he's actually voted as a governor and what he's promoted when he's in power is Barack Obama. You know, we're not going to trade out lung cancer for bone cancer here. And I know this is elementary to most of you, but so many people, if I am catching myself hating Obama so much, so disgusted with all of his crimes openly, and knowing they're thinking about doing it in Oklahoma City with his own advisors so arrogant that there's 3 different advisors and all these newsletters they send out to their big donors saying, we may have a new Oklahoma and we're going to blame it on, alternative media. And I'm listed. Glenn Beck's demonized in there. You better believe it's going to be Drudge too. Because the system sees everybody that isn't 100% in line with them as the enemy. I mean, I get wanting to cozy up just for your own protection to Mitt Romney. Because the Republicans in name at least claim they're for the Second Amendment and sovereignty and things. But see, in that is the great betrayal. But when we come back, I'm going to play a video audio clip of Obama saying he doesn't have the power to legalize the illegals. He doesn't have the power to do the carbon taxes without congressional authorization. But now he is. And then he says in his new administration, he is going to just sign executive orders to take the guns, everything. What do we do about this? What do we do? I mean, the government is pure criminal. For a long time, you've heard me talk about building your own food supply. Yeah, I saw a couple different news comments on Fox News. I saw Glenn Beck say the same thing on a video this morning, that what Obama is doing is what a dictator does. They said he's acting like a dictator. Well, let me explain something. When you act like a dictator, you're a dictator. It's not when I go rob a bank or you go rob a bank, you're acting like a bank robber. You're now a bank robber. When they're setting up checkpoints with not even sworn officers violating the 4th and 10th Amendment, trying to grope you on the highways now, we're not becoming a police state. We are one. When Google and the NSA admit they're dialing into home appliances and smart meters and listening to you in your home, and they want you to know that they're listening to you, you know what that's called? Do you know what that's called? That's called an out-of-control, dangerous group of criminals that are a threat to all of us, as our forebears warned us. And I start thinking about everything Obama's doing. And again, that means the big bankers that just took over Europe and are installing the presidents and prime ministers now. And Time Magazine, Newsweek, Financial Times are like, hey, it's dictatorship, but it's by bankers, and they know how to run things best. They're not like the old-fashioned dictators. The Economist actually was saying this word for word a few months ago. I read it on air. No, they're just technocratic and really care and are removed from the process. And, oh, yeah, they're real removed. They're a bunch of eugenicists that talk about how they want to wreck societies. And, of course, they're doing all this. They're just coming out in the open. And I think about the illegal alien issue, how every time I turn on television, it's the poor immigrants and the poor this, and they just want to, they deserve rights and all this stuff. Meanwhile, the borders are basically wide open. Meanwhile, the minute the illegals get here, they have welfare and they're allowed to have their kids paid for, something I don't get as a citizen. The anchor babies, instantly citizens, tons of money, and then they're organized over 90% to vote against the Second Amendment, against private property. I mean, it's over, folks. It's over. This country is collapsing if we don't reverse this. I mean, there are 6+ billion people. There's over 7 million people in the world. There are billions of people that want to come to this country. They want to come here right now. And it'd be one thing if we had millions a year coming here and they actually went out and got jobs and did all that. But no. We've got a sick culture of gangsterism. So I don't care if they're Eastern Europeans or from Africa or from Latin America or Asia. They all adopt the MTV gangster culture. They all adopt a thug culture, and I'm not a violent person. But when I'm out in public and some group of people bug their eyes out at me, I want to literally go Incredible Hulk on them. I mean, I am threatened by this. I am angry. And let me tell you something. America's angry and buying 2, 3, 4, 5 million guns a month for a good reason, okay? I'm getting tired of it, and I am sick of it. And I'm going to buy more guns today. That's it. I'm telling you what, man, this New World Order is not going to get what it wants. Let me tell you, the founders put that Second Amendment there as a checkmate to tyranny, and the First Amendment there as well, and we're going to beat these people. The globalists are trying to gut this country 7 ways from Sunday, and I'm tired of it. We're going to go to break, long segment coming up, and I do have this clip of Obama saying he can't legalize the illegals because it's against the law. Yeah, the president doesn't make the laws. But now the president doesn't just say he launches wars and military operations without Congress. He says he takes the orders from NATO, a bunch of narcotics trafficking criminals. NATO's a private group. And that criminal group, the United Nations. Our country is a joke. And we're never going to get America back until we admit that. Every time I see a good old boy with American flags all over their vehicle, I want to go over to him and say, was that made in China? And I want to go one further. Let me guess, you don't want to hear how we were taken over, because let me tell you, I've been around these guys. A lot of them get mad. Some of them are awake and will agree with you, but a lot of them get real mad. I mean, you saw when I was at the UN showing the UN sign saying it's owned by the UN at the Grand Canyon, and the guy comes out of nowhere, there's nobody even around me, and starts getting in my face because he hears me, he thinks I'm talking bad about America, saying the UN took over. His ego doesn't want to admit we got taken over so we can get the country back. He just wants to live in La-La Land and go watch a baseball game and suck his thumb. Well, I'm not going to suck my thumb as a bunch of foreign bankers gut this country. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to get into all the news, and I'm going to open the phones up. It's Monday, the 18th day of June, 2012.
We're on the march. The empire.
Let me explain how tyranny works. The scum, the filth, the parasites that are working for the system aren't going to stop. They won't stop till they've wrecked everything, till they've robbed everything, and until confidence is destroyed and everything collapses. This is how they operate every case in history. We have been overrun by every form of trash and filth and New World Order garbage. They absolutely hate this country. The New World Order hates the United States more than any other nation. They used our wealth and our prowess and our name and our credit card, our credit, to set up their stinking banker world government, and their accomplice, collaborator, traitor media sits there while the very mega banks that sold the derivatives and set up the too big to fail garbage sit there and pose as saviors on the nightly news every night with stupid, mindless, shallow, idiot business people and yuppies that think they're smart and don't even know how to tie their shoelaces or wipe their spiritually snot-filled snouts. All right, I am in a really angry right now because they're just doing everything. Let me tell you something. If Obama can launch wars and tell Congress to go to Hades, and Congress sits down and takes it last year and this year and says, thank you for the abuse, that pack of criminals up there. If we can sit there and as a country put up with the TSA abusing our wives, our husbands, our children, while hiring pedophiles to be the commanders at their facilities, oh yes, look it up. And not do background checks? What a joke. Oh, the security, we've got to keep you safe, but we hire criminals and don't do background checks. And it turns out they don't just have bad background checks, they hire criminals on purpose. This is what societies, when they go into the terminal rotting phase, do. We're like a dead animal that's been in a ditch for about 3 days. Now we're bloating. Now the eyeballs are popping out. Now the guts are coming out the other end. Now the maggots, the stomach just popped open. The maggots are spilling out. And Homeland Security is telling us the maggots are the sign of our health. They're telling us it's a great thing. No, it's not a great thing. They're not launching 30,000 drones and buying armored pillboxes and 450 million rounds of 40 cal hollow point and handing shotguns out to every agency there is and hardening all their facilities going back a decade ago because they wanted to be friendly with you. They planned to gut this country the entire time with pure hatred. This has all been pre-planned. Everything we told you is coming true. And I'm not proud of that fact. I wish we could have backed this off and stopped it. All people are like, listen to this guy get angry. He's crazy. You know what? What I am is disgusted and angry and desperate to try to get people out of their coma. This country's in a coma. This country is in a mind-numbed daze. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people in dazes all around me. I'm tired of it. I took my son to the bookstore and also to the pet store. And I was watching the workers. A few of them were nice listeners, but the others were like scared and addled and couldn't run a cash register and were shaking and afraid. And there were women lined up behind me, henpecking me in the aisle. And then I went over to the bookstore and the woman kept hammering me to get a loyalty card. And I kept saying, no, 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 no. And she kept saying, pushing it. And I said, listen, here, I know you're on a petty power trip following this script and everything. Leave me alone, slave. You like being a slave? Fine. Leave me alone. And I told him, I said, don't worry, the whole society's about to collapse. Now shut up. I didn't quite go that far because my son was there, but that's what I was thinking. I'm sick of timid, cowardly scum everywhere, just begging to be run over by the New World Order, just begging to have their country hammered to hell. Oh, I'm tired of it. I want to reverse this. And then I think about Obama and how much I can't stand him, but he's meant to be hated. He's meant to be the front teleprompter reader, the puppet that gets all the blame, like a shield. And when they're done with him, they throw him down when he's all bent up and pick up Mitt Romney. And if even I want Mitt Romney in my gut knows he's a fraud, but in my gut at an animal level, I was sick of Bush and wanted something new Obama. I didn't vote for Obama. I said he'd be a fraud, laid it all out, but I still had this mindless, pathetic, childlike, idiotic hope that a bought and paid for person will be different. And it's the same thing with Mitt Romney. Because you see Obama just slaughtering the country. It's Bill of Rights, it's Constitution, everything right now, and you say, oh, I want Mitt Romney. And it's in that fraud that keeps us perpetually being con-gamed. And knowing everything I know, they dangle that way out. Oh, Mitt Romney says he won't do this when he's all about betrayal. And then you say, well, what do we do? Well, when we open the phones up, that's a question I have for you. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to get angry. We've got to get involved. I mean, look at this Paul Joseph Watson article. Apple's iOS 6 includes government alerts. How many years ago did I tell you that all the computers, smartphones, digital clock radios will have government takeover switches that listen to you and watch you? Because it was in all the government documents. It was in the Telecommunications Acts that they had to do it, not under law, but regulations. And that you'd have government alerts. It's already started in New York, New Jersey. Obama pops on with audio and text, and there's putting jumbotrons in everywhere with Homeland Security on it, right out of every nightmare science fiction dystopia novel. They're launching Skynet against us, and I love my children. You know, I'm angry. One reason I'm so enraged is I've got to be here risking my life up front fighting these tyrants. And then people tell me, oh, thanks for the great job you're doing. I'm doing nothing but self-preservation. Don't you understand? You don't have a future if you don't take action. What do? You go out and spray paint the website you think's the most informative everywhere? I don't know, desperate times mean desperate measures. I don't think that's a desperate measure. It's InfoWar. It's what the committees of correspondence did, the Sons of Liberty, for a decade before the Redcoats came and confiscated the guns and the war started. And by the way, that's when the war is going to start here. And the globalists are going to do it on purpose. But we don't have a choice at that point. They want to show you who's boss. They want to roll this country, show